engaging the community since 1970. This is WIS Awareness.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for Awareness today. I'm your host, Leland Pender. Well, June 17 marks 3 years since the massacre at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston. And right now, Awareness and many in the community are taking time to reflect on that day, remember the lives lost, and keep their memories alive.
Woke up today. And the heart and soul of South Carolina was broken.
Then South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley overcome with emotion in the wake of 9 racially motivated murders at a church in Charleston. This month, we mark the 3rd anniversary since the violence that night.
For they are a part of us, and we remember them.
The Reverend Clemente Pinckney, Cynthia Hurd, Reverend Sharonda Coleman Singleton, Tywanza Sanders, Ethel Lance, Susie Jackson, Payne Middleton Doctor, Reverend Daniel Simmons, and Myra Thompson.
A few dozen people gather in Chappell Auditorium at Allen University. They're here to remember and reflect on the lives taken in the racially motivated murders at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston in 2015.
These 9 lost their lives on the altar of racial bigotry and hatred.
Among the crowd are Rose Simmons and her mother. Rose's father, Reverend Daniel Simmons, was among the 9 people killed during Bible study that night. Rose has been to many of these remembrance services in the last 3 years, and each one is just as important as the last.
It means that somebody cares. It means that the world has not forgotten what happened.
This service being held at Allen is particularly special because it is her father's alma mater. Assistant United States Attorney Julius Richardson, who prosecuted the case in court, spoke about Reverend Simmons in his remarks to the crowd.
A true man of the Word. A man who believed the Word meant what it said. A man who devoted countless hours ministering to those in need, as well as mentoring and guiding new clergy, as he was doing on that fateful evening. Just as he devoted himself outside the home to service, he loved his family and encouraged their ongoing education, a value he acquired here at Allen. His legacy is well represented by his daughter Rose, his son Dan, and his wife Mrs. Simmons.
Reverend Clementa Pinckney and Tywanza Sanders, also killed that night, were also graduates of Allen. Reverend Pinckney was an accomplished and esteemed pastor and state lawmaker.
Don't let his exalted positions mislead you. Reverend Pinckney was not a man who just stayed up on the mountaintops. Reverend Pinckney was a man who went down into the valleys to help those who needed a helping hand, serving and ministering to countless parishioners, constituents, and young people facing challenges in their own lives. His devotion to our state was exceeded only by his love and devotion to his family.
Tywanza Sanders graduated just a year before he was gunned down.
A life full of promise and opportunity. From his lemonade stand as a young boy outside of his mother Felicia's salon, to his artistry as a barber, his poetry and music, and his deep and abiding faith, Wanza's spirit and zest for life inspired those that were around him. though we were blessed to have him for only 26 years. His legacy, too, lives on through the Tawanza Sanders Legacy Foundation, which serves to give our youth opportunities to pursue both their educational and entrepreneurial dreams.
This event, put together each year by the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission, is meant to remember the impact each victim made on society in life and in death. It's also a time to reflect on the progress of improving race relations and economic equality for South Carolinians.
No matter the difficulties, how painful the experience, if we lose our hope, that would be the real tragedy.
This tragedy will be etched in the memory of South Carolinians and the fabric of our nation forever as the road to racial reconciliation continues. Rose Simmons never expected to be so closely linked to those efforts in this way. But along with the anger, grief, and sadness has also come peace.
When I think about my father and what happened to him, I'm sad for a moment. But because of what he did in that room that night, as I've been told by the survivors, he's a hero. So there's so much joy in knowing that, and I'm proud.
Morning, class. What are the answers?
9. 9. 9. It's all 9s. What is this, a George Sink commercial?
It is. If you've been hurt in a car wreck or on the job,
call all 9s now.
Whatever it is that makes your business great, promote it with Vistaprint. 500 standard business cards start at just $9.99 when you enter code TVPromo at Vistaprint.com.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Millions of Americans just like you owe the IRS more than $10,000 and are facing liens, bank levies, wage garnishments, penalty abatements, and other IRS enforcement actions. Newly authorized debt forgiveness programs allow you to settle your debts for less than ever before. Our network of tax professionals will fight for you. They have helped save their clients millions over the years and can help you save too.
Please call 800-683-4915.
An injury from a car wreck can change your world. George Sink Injury Lawyers are here to help make it right. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call all 9s. That's 999-9999. We have what it takes to help get your money faster.
When I think about my father and what happened to him, I'm sad for a moment. But because of what he did in that room that night, as I've been told by the survivors, he's a hero. So there's so much joy in knowing that, and I'm proud.
Reverend Pinckney was the first person shot. Reverend Simmons, according to witnesses, with disregard for the gunman or his own life, ran over to check on his pastor after he had been shot.
He didn't care about what was going to happen to him. And just that split second, he ran towards racism, bigotry. He ran towards it with an overflowing amount of love in his heart for his fellow man.
As Richardson recounted moments from that night, he noted the shooting didn't start right away. The killer sat among the group that welcomed him as they studied for nearly an hour before opening fire.
A young white man walked in to a Bible study at Mother Emanuel. He walked into that Bible study with a heart full of hate. Instead of a Bible for study, he had brought a Glock 45. He sat with them for 45 minutes. He sat while Myra Thompson led that group in the study of Luke 4, Jesus' parable of the sower. It was only when they stood to close in prayer and thanksgiving that he pulled that 45 out and executed worshiper after worshiper.
Rose's father was the only shooting victim to make it out of the church alive. He was taken to a hospital where he later died.
I've often said about my father, I talk about this great list that was created in heaven. And those 9 people, their names were on that list. And when I think about that, I say, wow, this list was created by God. They were chosen, their lives were chosen for this. And in that, in my faith, in what I believe, all I see is joy and honor.
Thoughts and reflections swirl often for Simmons about her father, the other 8 victims, and about racism in our world and in the hearts of some. She hopes more people will continue to stand up and attack racism whenever they see it to make it stop.
Here we are. We're not faced with death the way my father was, but we run away from racism. We don't move towards it like my father did, facing death. I think what we need as a nation of people, we all need to change our direction and move towards that so we can rectify that.
This tragic event has impacted Rose's life in the last 3 years and will continue to for the rest of her life and every single day in between. She forever has a story to tell, and what would have been typically mundane interactions with strangers and even friends have now taken on new meaning. Many are now opportunities to encourage racial reconciliation and understanding.
In my personal life, once I let people know that my father was actually one of the victims, in conversations with Caucasians, I've actually gotten apologies for slavery. And I found that intriguing because I've never been a slave. They were never slave owners. And it was so long ago. And what amazes me is that they can go all the way back to slavery, more than 150 years. But today we have race issues that are prevalent right now, but no one is speaking about those. So to me, I was puzzled. I was puzzled. And then I think I had an epiphany. And this is strictly my opinion based on what happens to me when people find out that my father was one of the victims. I think that there's a little racism in all of us. And I think it crosses racial lines. And I think we have it within each race. I think what that young man did in that church awakened some buried feelings that they may have suppressed. But this young man didn't suppress his. He acted on them. So I think when I get those apologies, something as grievous as slavery, I think what the people are trying to say to me is, I'm sorry for having some of those same feelings that this young man had. And in seeing him acted out, it put a mirror in their face. And I think it made them come to a place and say, hey, I got to stop this because this is what happens if I feed this. So, I accept the apology, and I do everything I can to assure them that I appreciate it. Yeah.
The shooter admits his mission was to make the matter worse, but the opposite outcome took hold.
I want us to never, ever forget that what was done to cause us hate ended up causing us to love each other more.
Instead of allowing hatred, division, and distrust to take hold and grow, the family members and survivors, in that darkest hour, faced with extraordinary injustice, they relied upon their roots in faith. They put on the full armor of God and stood firm.
What was meant to shatter relationships with our fellow man has only brought us closer together.
He gave his life, and he is changing the fabric of this nation. And there's nothing but joy that comes out of that for me. And I'm honored. I'm grateful to be his daughter. Yes.
South Carolina State Museum, open for fun.
Join Scrat, Ice Age's resident nut-crazed saber-toothed squirrel, as he time travels in his zaniest adventure to date. Ice Age, No Time for Nuts 4D. Scrat battles a wonky time machine that has zapped his beloved nut. And with buddies Manny, Diego, and especially Sid along for the ride, the laughs are right on time in this custom 4D special effects extravaganza. Now playing at the South Carolina State Museum.
Want professional exterior lights? You need disc lights by Bell & Howell, the portable solar outdoor LED lights that lie flat to create a cascade of light. Disc lights convert the sun's energy into solar energy to run all night and turn on and off automatically. Disc lights are just right for your outdoor decor. And now they're yours for just $19.95 with free shipping. But there's more. Order today and you can get a second set of 4 disc lights. Just pay a separate fee. So don't delay. Order your Bell & Howell disc lights today. Call now.
This is Jane. Jane is always on the go, bouncing from home to work, to this meeting, to this business trip. Jane wishes she could stay connected to here, because here is what matters most, and nobody keeps you connected to here better than WIS News 10. Download the all-new, improved, and free WIS News app. Customize it to exactly what you want from it, and know that wherever life takes you, you're never too far away. Sponsored by Midland Air. Download it for free right now.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-535-4960 or go to Mesobook.com.
He gave his life, and he is changing the fabric of this nation.
Rose Simmons speaks about her dad, the Reverend Daniel Simmons, who lost his life at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston in 2015. He was 74 years old. Her words could easily ring true about any of the other 8 victims of the killer now sentenced to death for his actions fueled by hatred and racism. Here is former WIS Awareness host, Megan Norman.
It was 1 week after the shooting that a horse-drawn caisson carrying the body of Pastor and Senator Clemente Pinckney took a long, quiet, and solemn trip through downtown Columbia before arriving for his final time at the State House. Thousands of people turned out to see Pinckney lying in state. At his homegoing service in Charleston, Pinckney was applauded for his tireless devotion between the church house of Mother Emanuel and the State House in Columbia. Delivering the eulogy was President Barack Obama, who described the slain state senator as a man who was designed for destiny at an early age.
was in the pulpit by 13, pastor by 18, public servant by 23.
Sharonda had a spirit that would reach the world. She was just that special, and everybody who knew her knew it.
45-year-old Sharonda Coleman Singleton was a minister and high school track coach. She was a mother of 3 and an alumna of South Carolina State University. Ethel Lance served the church as a custodian and was a longtime member of Mother Emanuel.
She was always there. She was always there. She's a soldier.
The 70-year-old was a mother and grandmother and was retired after dedicating 34 years to the performing arts.
Tywanza was always a bubbly and happy person. His aunt, she would do anything for anybody at any time.
The youngest victim, 26-year-old Tywanza Sanders, was a recent graduate of Allen University. Witnesses say he died that night trying to protect his aunt, Susie Jackson. Jackson was 87 years old and a longtime member of Mother Emanuel. Cynthia Hurd was a well-known librarian who, after working for 31 years in Charleston County, was looking forward to retirement. Her legacy is one that's special to Congressman Jim Clyburn.
This is her church. I'm an AME. My wife was a librarian, and she was my daughter's best friend.
Hurd was the sister of former North Carolina State Senator Malcolm Graham.
And sometimes you don't know when you're entertaining angels, but we were.
He had a beautiful spirit.
Beautiful spirit.
A beautiful spirit.
A mother, a minister, and a woman of God. Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor was a minister at Emmanuel A. The 49-year-old was a former admissions coordinator at Southern Wesleyan University's Charleston Learning Center and the mother of 4 daughters.
Sweet, loving woman.
Myra Thompson was a teacher in the Charleston County School District. The 59-year-old had a husband and 2 children. She received her license to preach the same day of the massacre and was leading the Bible study that night.
Reverend Simmons was dedicated to the Lord, but he was really dedicated to his family.
The final member of the emanuel9 to be laid to rest was Reverend Daniel Simmons Sr. Simmons retired from the ministry in 2013, but continued to serve on staff at Mother Emanuel. He was laid to rest at Fort Jackson National Cemetery.
These 9 lives held in high honor by their families and those who knew them well or didn't know them at all until this happened.
Those lives that were lost were seeds of greatness to spring up for the entire state of South Carolina, for the nation, even for the world, in coming to a place of reckoning with race relations. So when we look at it that way, we realize that in every situation in this country, lives had to be taken and lost or sacrificed for us to wake up.
A wake-up call of the worst kind, but something to propel us forward. Rose has established a memorial scholarship fund in her father's name to help students attending colleges and universities affiliated with the AME Church. Out of this tragedy also sprung the Hate Won't Win movement, spearheaded by Rose's niece, Reverend Simmons' granddaughter, Alana. It aims to break down barriers of division and intolerance by celebrating acts of love. Rose says she believes this generation will really be the catalyst for change.
I do believe that in the years to come, we may not need to have these conversations. I believe that with the world in your hands, I think you guys are going to make the change. And it's due, and it's time.
Keep going.
Hey, it's Ava again. I've been watching the clock all day, looking forward to when I can hop on the line to meet someone local and laid back.
It's Amelia here, and I just got out of a relationship, so I'm looking to meet someone who doesn't want anything too serious.
Hey, I'm Chloe, and I'm looking for a chill guy who I can really connect with. Send me a message if you know how to hold a conversation.
Real local singles who want what you want.
Car wreck? Call All Twos now. We got a $250,000 settlement for a client injured in a car accident when driver illegally turned in front of him.
Call All Twos now.
To get your attorney, dial All Twos now.
Carrington has saved me a lot of money.
You mean the Carrington Dental Savings Plan. Carrington provides discounts on dental care, including routine and preventative treatment, specialty care, and cosmetic care like teeth whitening and braces. The Carrington Dental Savings Plan is not insurance. It's a low-cost way to save on dental care. Plans start at just $8.95 a month. Call now. The first 1,000 callers to sign up receive a limited-time special offer.
1-800-769-4981. 1-800-769-4981.
Let's hear it for Bite. Char. Pop. Savory flavors that won't stop. From new tastes to favorite memories, new campfire meals for a limited time at Cracker Barrel. Enjoy every little thing.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp. Get started with your idea. Call for free information.
Call 1-800-794-8995. That's 1-800-794-8995.
Well, welcome back, and that's our show for today here on Awareness. Let us never forget the lives that were lost that night 3 years ago in Charleston, and let us continue to work so their lives were not taken in vain. Thanks for watching this morning. Have a great rest of your day.